Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm trying to take down the world's strongest chess engine by using an Amazon against its queen. Let's get started with game number one. Alright, game number one, as you can see I have an Amazon facing off against Stockfish's queen. The Amazon moves like a queen and a knight combined, so at the moment it can't actually see anything like a queen, but it can also move like a knight. Now, I think I'm going to play this like a relatively normal game of chess, developing all of my pieces and then later letting the Amazon shine through. We are met with knight to f6, my thought process being that if I develop the Amazon too early on in the game, it'll just get targeted in the same way that a queen might get targeted. d5 is on the board. I could just play a London system, so I'm going to jump on the opportunity and do exactly that. Met with pawn to e6, I mean, it's playing extremely passively, which I think is a great upside to having a very powerful piece, is that Stockfish also sees a lot of potential in that piece, which means it's going to be a little bit more reserved in how it plays the game. c5 is on the board. I always meet this with pawn to c3 to reinforce my center. And bishop to e7, wow, look at that. It doesn't even dare face off against my own bishop. So bishop to d3, if it actually loses its mind and tries to castle in this position, I'm definitely playing knight to e5, and then h4, h5, and then bringing out the Amazon for hopefully a devastating attack. Wow, it dares to castle its king. It's very funny because oftentimes I don't know how to properly utilize the fact that I have a very strong piece on the board, but in this case, this is home turf for me. I love playing knight to e5, h4, h5, and then going for some sort of crazy attack. That's like day one stuff for me personally. We're met with knight to h5. I frankly do not care. Let's go knight to e5, targeting the knight. If it does take, I recapture with this pawn, and I still think the attack will be in full swing, maybe with some sort of Greek gift sacrifice on the way. The knight does take, we'll go ahead and take back. Now, admittedly, our pawn structure is going to be a little bit messed up, but again, eyes on the prize. Knight comes out to c6, threatening to take on d4, challenging our knight just a little bit. Now, why can't I just play this? Pawn to g6, I take, pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, Amazon takes, sees the king like a queen, covers all of these squares like a queen, and covers h8 like a knight. So that would actually be checkmate. So right away, Amazon to h5. Oh, okay, we're met with pawn to f5. Now, the bishop can no longer support this attack. I could take this, allow Stockfish to take back, get rid of this pawn, so Stockfish doesn't take and then isolate my own d4 pawn, and then maybe just queenside castle before I bring more pieces into the attack. So let's start by taking on c6. Pawn takes back. Now this attacker of d4 has been removed, but I actually still don't want Stockfish to take, again, because if I take back, then I have this very weakened pawn on d4. So I'm actually going to take first on c5, and then queenside castle. Bishop takes, which makes a lot of sense. Queenside castle is on the board. If it takes on f2, I don't really care, because ultimately my goal is a kingside attack, and it would be capturing one of my doubled pawns anyways. Rook to b8 is very confrontational. I'd like to play knight to b3 and boot the bishop. I might be met with queen to b6, because if I ever do take and move the knight, queen takes b2 is checkmate. So maybe I try to follow through on this attack a little bit more. Let's go pawn to g4, start challenging all of these squares. Queen to f6. Of course, Stockfish would love for me to trade off my Amazon and then just enter an endgame where it has the bishop pair, full control of the center, and I have all the weaknesses. So that is definitely not going to happen. Instead, let's take on f5. If it dares to capture with the queen, we can definitely duke that out, but I suspect it will take with the pawn, and then maybe I get on this semi-open file. What? Queen takes c3. Did I just like completely miss something? Okay, obviously I can't play king b1 because queen takes. So I actually have to capture this queen. And it hasn't automatically played a move, so I'm assuming it missed something. Bishop to a3, I just play king c2. Rook to b2, king c1? Oh, is it playing for a draw? That would be very weird. Unless this attack was so convincing that sacrificing the queen and forcing a draw is actually better. Right, bishop to a3 is on the board. Let's move the king out of the way. Rook to b2 forces me back. I am on the ropes here, but up a huge amount of material, so it has to follow through. Rook to b8. Okay, rook to b8 is a very precise move because it could have been rook to b3, rook to b4, rook to b5, rook to b6, rook b7, but instead it chose rook to b8. So this is not a coincidence. I think it is actually just looking for a threefold repetition. Right, rook to b2, I'll move back. And after rook to b8, we do in fact draw the game. Now, obviously it would be extremely lame if I ended the video there, so let's give this one more try. Okay, we've reset the board. I'm going to go for a very similar approach, except Instead of queenside castling, maybe I try to be a little more convincing about my kingside attack. Okay, you can see it hasn't played the exact same moves, but it's played very similarly, very passively, very non-confrontationally. This time I don't think I'm going to mess up my own pawn structure though, because I thought last time I would be fast enough for the attack to have Stockfish on the back foot, but that kind of crazy counterplay I did not expect to see. So let's play a little more solidly this time. Oh, that cannot possibly be right. I get to take back and then I have a semi-open file. This pawn is already too far advanced, so g4, g5 tickles the kingside position. The bishop is comfortably looking at that side of the board as well. The Amazon will follow through in just a moment. There's not that many pieces in front of the king. I mean, do I even have to go on? I feel like this looks extremely promising for the white pieces. Now the question is, do I play knight to e5 or g4, g5 right away? And I think the answer is g4, g5, or maybe Amazon to e2 and then I castle first. You know what? I'm going to play this slow and steady. Let's get the Amazon out, queenside castle, and then fully prepare a kingside attack. I'll be honest, against an opponent, or rather a human opponent, I'd play g4, g5, sack the pawn, drag the queen over, and I think it would be trivial to defeat a human player. But against Stockfish, I'm going to be a little more precise. Right, queen to c7, now we can definitely push, because if we advance and the bishop takes, I take, the pawn takes, and there has to be some sort of mating idea. Knight to c6, g5, absolute no-brainer move. I have no idea how it's going to defend this. I mean, I know it's Stockfish, but I think even for Stockfish, this is probably too big of an ask. Pawn to b6 just allows me to take. I don't know if it's going to try and close up and let me check, but I'm getting in that position one way or another. Right, g6 is in fact what it plays. Let's just go check. King has to shuffle over to h8. If g7, then I promote. Rook takes, king takes, and then the king is all by his lonesome self. So now, how do I follow up on this? I'm going to queenside castle, and then I think I have rook h6, bishop sacrifice. Pawn to c4, total non-concern. I'll just drop the bishop back. Pawn to b5 initiates an attack, maybe e4. Kind of would make some sense, actually. Because the problem with rook to h6 is b4 I take, and I don't actually have a mating threat, right? It can just keep taking. If I keep taking, it's going to beat me before I get to it. So maybe e4 here is necessary. Wow, b4 anyways is quite scary. Let's take on d5, and then maybe centralize the knight. Worst comes to worst, maybe I trade off the Amazon for the queen, but I'm going to really try and avoid that as much as possible. Right, pawn takes. Let's go knight to e5, maybe we have a sacrifice. Knight does in fact take, I will take with the pawn. I'm not quite ready to give up the Amazon yet. I haven't gotten a very concrete advantage yet. And it does in fact take. Now I think I take with the Amazon here, because if I take with the pawn, it's just check, king moves out of the way, check, and I get assassinated. So let's take with the Amazon instead. Bishop to e6, what's stopping me from playing f4, f5? Really nothing. So let's do that, f4, f5. Trying to open up the long diagonal and tickle his kingside position again. Queen to b6, I don't think leads to anything. Or is it threatening d4 maybe? I mean, I can kind of see d4 being an issue. Okay, let's go knight to f3 to defend d4 and then go f5. Queen to b4, it just wants to trade off the Amazon. And the problem is, since it's a defensive piece, if I move it away, it does have actual like mating threat ideas. Interesting. Is there any universe where I trade and then play f5 and still win? I don't think so, because I don't have a dark squared bishop. Yeah, problem is I refuse to go down without a fight. I'm moving my Amazon out of the way, keeping it safe, and following through on this kingside attack. Right, rook shuffles over. I think b3 is the only way for me to even begin to hold on to this, so let's give it a try. Rook shuffles over. Is there any way that I'm faster than Stockfish? This looks really sketchy though. I think f5 is my only chance, so let's throw it on the board. But pawn takes b3. What do I do? Takes, check, king d2. Sketchy stuff. Let's try to take. Bishop takes f5 is horrible for me. Do I have to play knight d4 to defend this? I can't play e6, right? To try and get my Amazon in there because there's just takes. And even though I can take back, it's an Amazon for a rook and a bishop, and then I'm getting devoured right after. So I think knight d4 here is kind of forced. Of course, Stockfish is going to take anyways. I'll take back, and we do drop b3. If I move the Amazon out of the way, what are the damages there? Check. Or no, yeah, Amazon here. If you take, I take back, and I'm fine with that. I'm just up the exchange there. But if I play here and check, king here. You know what? Maybe I'm okay with that. Amazon. Oh, it played it instantly, which means it's forced mate. Oh, and that makes so much sense too. I can't block with the knight because it's pinned. I can't block with the Amazon because then it's mate and the Amazon is pinned. I can't block with the rook because of queen b1. Wow, I thought I had a chance there. Okay, I'm going to play this so it can end the game. And with that, we do lose with the Amazon. I'm curious though. In this position, I'm going to play it from here just out of curiosity. I wonder if I could have survived this. I take, and obviously it has to take back with the rook, which it does. Now I take this pawn, and I wonder if this is still like survivable. Bishop g5 seems to be a recurring motif. I'll move the king out of the way. And then the rook just skewers the king and my other rook. Okay, so I was losing anyways. Well, with that, we do not actually manage to defeat Stockfish with the Amazon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below if there are any other challenges that I should try against Stockfish, or if I should have played this any differently. And I will see you guys in the next one.